100% of the information. I mean, literally, he is the smartest person that I know in life. Love having fun, but definitely has a heart for helping people and creating success, not just
Yeah.
financial success for himself, but he's looking to help a lot of people create financial success for them and their family. So, could you guys do me a favor? Let's give him a virtual round of applause for my big brother, Mr. Richard Harden. Let's give it up for him. Give it up for him. I know we got the
It's the hearing impaired version of applause, and we also got the emojis and the reaction buttons. And if you're able to, I want to encourage you to come off mute and on camera so we can talk tonight, because I've been really thinking about our situation and the things that we're going through. And before I jump in talking about the new insight, because it's something that occurred to me today that none of you have ever seen, because I just put it on a slide 30 minutes ago. Before I get started talking about that, I want to give it back to my brother, Chuck Harden, because, if you think about the pulse of this company, the things that we're doing, the lives that we're touching, and the momentum that we're creating, who we need to be hearing on the Monday night call just addressed you on Monday night. So before I get started, would you guys do me a huge favor? Y'all give it up for my brother, Chuck Harden. Yeah.
I receive it. I receive it.
Yay!
So let me share a couple things on my screen, and when you can see as I get started, let me know so that I address the questions that people have on this line tonight. In terms of financial change, if there's one area of your life that you could change financially, what would that be? Type it in the chat. If it's you want to have lower bills, you want to make more money, you want to invest more money, do you want to have better credit, do you want wealth for generations after you? What area can I address for you tonight, just so I make sure that as I tailor my conversation, I'm talking to you? That makes sense? All right, so we got investments, more residual income, wealth and better credit. Somebody said all of the above, right? So as we talk about it, and I want to put it in the context of what's happening right now, because, it's a reality in our lives right now that we're living in unprecedented times. Meaning, if you ask me in 2019 what I'd be doing in May of 2020, there's no version of me that will tell you that I would have been in the city of Atlanta for 120 consecutive days. I'm a traveler by nature. In my work and my business, I travel all around the country, talking to people about technology, trends, and things that are happening. When I do a good job, the companies make money, they pay me, and I get to pay my bills. But because of the situation with COVID-19, with the infection, I happen to know some people that were affected personally, but more important, I think the entire country's been affected financially. And I want to talk about this stimulus bill. Did anybody see that Congress passed that $2 billion stimulus?
Yep.
So here's the thing that I found out in perspective. One of the things that doesn't translate, because numbers don't translate the same way. Everybody say 2 trillion. Matter of fact, type 2 trillion, because that's going to be relevant to all the things that we talk about wanting to change financially for ourselves as individuals. I was reading a book that said the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is huge, but we underestimate it. Meaning, if you put dollars as seconds, do you know how long ago a million seconds ago was? Well, turns out a million seconds ago was about 11 days. You know how long a billion seconds ago was? It was 32 years.
Wow.
So when we see these numbers and hear them rhyme, it's easy to think that they're just numbers, but $2 trillion, let's put it in perspective. I got a breakdown of all the things that it went to, but think about a $100 bill. Everybody seen a $100 bill before?
Yep.
Okay, if you take $100 and you get $100 bills, that's $10,000. That's a stack about this thick. You can walk around, have a good time in Vegas with $10,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
$1 million is $10,000 package. You could put it into a gym bag and carry it around. Everybody see what I'm saying? $1 million.
Yep.
But because they sound the same, we start missing how big the amount of money the government is spending is right now. See, $100 million it fits on a pallet. For range of motion, that's a 6 foot tall man beside that pallet of money. That's $100 million. $1 trillion is 10 of those. You couldn't fit $1 billion in the room that I'm in right now. But then we talk about $1 trillion. That's that same pallet. That's that same man. See that same 6 foot tall man over there in the corner? Pallets are double stacked, overflowing. The government is giving away this amount of money to stimulate the economy. But let me tell you something that we all know. Government only has one source of income. That's who?
Us.
That's us. That's our tax. That's our tax dollars. That's the money that we spend. So they put out money into the economy, understanding that the traditional financial cycle is all upside down right now. And best believe chickens always come home to roost. So in our world today, you got to think about, we're in the first deflated economy since most of us were adults. How many of you have never seen gas prices go down? Raise your hands. Give me a thumbs up if gas prices going up your whole life. Right? That's most of us. Right now, gas prices are down, but it's a commodity that is price inflexible, guaranteed to bounce back. At the same time, taxes, which take the majority of our income, both the income taxes that come before and the sales, ad valorem, property, and all other taxes that come after, those will have to be increased to make up for the shortfall of newly manufactured money that's in that $1 trillion stimulus. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then you think about it, the average person right now that wasn't prepared financially, they only have one source of emergency cash. What's that?
Credit cards.
Credit cards. People are going into massive debt. People that can't qualify for credit cards, losing homes and paychecks on payday loans. And then the worst part, those of us that were proactive, that were preparing, that have been investing. How many of you put money in your 401k, in the stock market, in all those places that were traditionally safe investment vehicles, and have seen huge tumbles as the basic economy is on hold, right? Think about right now, Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NFL, the entire March Madness went away. It's May, and there's not a college basketball champion, right? Colleges, schools, businesses around the country are dragging wind on revenue, and when revenue drops, earnings per share drop, and the stock market goes down. That's why if you have 6 figures in a 401k, you're guaranteed to have lost at least 5 figures on 2 days. I'm not saying the entire month, 2 different days in March and April of this year. Now, I say all that to frame the challenge that we're facing, knowing that I have a solution. Like, the best thing about this call, the reason I'm so excited, so animated this late at night, is we literally have the solution to the challenge that most people are facing and some don't even see coming. But that's the definition of an entrepreneur, somebody that solves problems for a profit. And the 3 solutions, so we'll talk about 3 things. Number 1 is just realizing the reality of social distancing. Even now with states like Georgia and Florida open up in unpredictable and unreasonable ways, how many of you are still a little bit uncertain about how much going outside you should do till you get some results? Show of hands if you got I'm going to check and see how y'all doing in 2 weeks before I venture out philosophy, right? So you got most people at home, most businesses still, if you look at anybody in the American Medical Association, still recommending you rest at home. While you're here, why not get your house in order, right? Start a home-based business. The Richest Man in Babylon, it's a classic book on wealth creation, says, make of thy home a profitable dwelling. And it's for 3 reasons. Number 1, there's low to no startup costs, meaning you already live where you live. But if you could live where you live, pay the bills that you pay, and have some of the bills that you're already paying be tax deductible, that would just be a smart thing to do, wouldn't it? Yep. So everybody on this line has the internet. You know how I know? We couldn't meet if we weren't on the internet. But now, there's 2 categories. On the one side, you have bill payers where you have a Comcast bill, an internet bill, a cell phone bill. But as a home business owner, Now you get to write that off. You're going to have it anyway. You might as well get the tax benefit of what's being created for home businesses. Third thing is you get to lower your tax. So if you got low startup costs, low overhead, because you already live here. See what's over my head right here? It's my roof because I live here. That's what's over your head. Lower taxes and then unlimited income. We say high income, but really there's no limits on how much money you can make from home when you call the shots and you get to multiply your efforts through helping others. Second part of our solution is leveraging technology. Even right now, the call that you're on is leverage of a technology that people are doing everything with. I was in a Toastmasters contest earlier today, but I also had happy hour with some friends on Zoom on Friday. People doing line dance lessons, Zumba personal training. But think about what we're doing right here. We're talking about money. We had one of our business partners have a stream event where there were a couple of hundred people on the live event, but over the course of a week, 5,000 people were able to leverage the same presentation and conversation. Imagine if the same platform that we're doing TikTok dances on was something that you could get paid on. People are home anyway. The cure for most people for social distancing is social media. This is how we're connecting. Now we can connect and make it worth money. Does that make sense? We can connect and make it worth money. And then third item, specialized education. In every recessed economy, every time the economy goes down, every person out there is looking for the answer. They're looking to know the things they didn't know that got them in the situation where they're in. So we've partnered with a team of financial experts to help people with the area where everyone has an impact. There is no one in America that doesn't have some financial impact. Now, I won't say that everybody's losing, but here's how our system works. You share a system that helps people solve the problems they're having right now today financially, helps them with their taxes, helps them with their credit, helps them get out of debt, and helps them create wealth for the next generation. And we, as the Extra Digit movement, and by the way, let me explain what an extra digit is. If you have a check right now, how much better would your life be if somebody added one more digit on the left side? You making 3 figures now, we helped you make 4 figures. You making 4 figures now, we helped you make 5 figures. You making 6, 7 is an option. Would you like it? That's what we do. We educate people on how to add an extra digit to their lives. And then our partners with Making Wealth Real Financial. That's what MWR stands for. If you're taking notes, write it down. Making Wealth Real Financial. Because for most people, wealth is a theory, isn't it? They have a vision of, people on Gilligan's Island with millions and billions of dollars in diamonds and furs. But what wealth really is the number of days forward that you can live without having to work again. That's what Robert Kiyosaki said. I didn't make that up. I read it and I believe it. How many of you believe that if you could continue your life at your current level without working another day again, you'd be wealthy? Show of hands, thumbs up. So that's what we do. That's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about how to make wealth real, because we know that money talks, wealth whispers, and it's in this direction. No matter what class of worker you are in the world today, whether you're white collar, blue collar, no collar, you're an entrepreneur, we all have 2 goals for our money. Number 1 is that the work we're doing right now has to, at a minimum, pay for our current lifestyle. But at the same time, if we're working right now, the reality of life is at one point, we will either no longer be able to or want to continue to go to work every day. Now, in traditional families, in my parents' generation, people got that taken care of with pensions and Social Security. But now that responsibility is in place squarely on our shoulders. It's your investments. It's what you do with the money you make today and what it does to prepare for tomorrow that guarantees your future lifestyle. So how does Making Wealth Real help with that? It's a 4-factor system. If you think about all the areas that we talked about coming into right now, it's 4 areas where everybody's under attack. And I mean everybody. It doesn't matter what class of employee you are. Taxes take the majority of income for people at work. Facts. Yes? And if we think about that fact, we have a Money Max tax reduction strategy that helps us have access to the professionals to help reduce our taxes. Similarly, with credit, the cost of money, we have Credit Max professionals with Equity Max, increasing our ownership, decreasing our debts, and with Wealth Max, building generational wealth plans and strategies. Now, it would be selfish of me, as excited as I am about how much MWR has changed my life, knowing the people that are on this phone call, not to take some time to introduce you to some of them and their testimonies. Now, let me look down. Don't be hiding. Let me see who I see right here. Uh-oh. Chuck, can you see who's on there that has a great Money Max story?
I think I see Vonda Bell.
Yes. Superstar.
Yeah.
Hey, this is one of our newest promoted executives. She is blazing a trail, building a legacy, but it all started with a very basic beginning. She not only has she earned a position in the company in a very short period of time, but she's in the process of helping other people do the same thing. So, Vonda, could you tell us your Money Max story?
Good evening, Power Builders. How are you? Thanks, Chuck, for always believing in me and pushing me off the porch. I love it. Money Max for me, Richard. I uploaded my.
Oops. You are going robot voice on me a little bit.
And this is what they return my. Can you guys hear me? Let me switch back over to my phone. I'll come back.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Richard?
I can hear you now. That's good.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Long story short, I adjusted my W-4, and it gave me $800 back on my paycheck.
$800.
$800. Mm-hmm.
How many times a month you get paid?
Once a month.
Once a month, $800. Now, for that $800, did you have to? What kind of work do you do, by the way? What's your profession?
I'm an educator. I teach third grade.
So now I'm married to a teacher, so I know teachers don't get $800 raises often. Did you have to teach any more bad kids?
No.
Overtime. Did you have to run the aftercare program?
No overtime.
You
No,
correct your W-4. The experts helped you with that process, and now every month, month after month, you get an extra $800 as an educator.
Yes.
You should also. So we want to thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you did, and congratulate you on taking the first step in making wealth real. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, our second category in our Financial Edge membership program is the Credit Max program, where we focus on credit restoration strategies, provide access to experts that help with the process. And as I think about folks on this line that I know have worked with Credit Max, it's kind of interesting. I want to introduce back the person that introduced me. That's my brother, Chuck. Now, Chuck, you had an experience with Credit Max that you were not expecting. Is that correct?
That is correct. Am I off mute?
You're off mute. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, that is correct. Yeah, I was actually just following the system. I just wanted to go through the process so I could see what my other team members and customers would be doing. So I just put my information in, and I already had a decent credit score. I was in the 740, 750, so wasn't really looking for any change. But they got me all the way up to currently I'm at 815. So they got me in the 800 club, and they keep inching me up a little further. I just want to see how high I can go. You know, I just want to go buy something now just so I can say I got it, you know.
I mean, it's one of those amazing things. What we got to realize is that most of us were caught up in the reverse cycle, meaning money was working against us. Taxes were taking enough money out that we had to borrow money. Because we didn't have enough money, people tended to get behind. And because they got behind, their credit scores went down. So money cost them more money. But with the maxes, we're able to slide the scale and reverse the cycle to get caught up in a vicious cycle going the other direction. And I'll compare the last two things in the Financial Edge membership just so you have a picture of what it does. And let's see. Now, Coco, you did work with Equity Max. Is that correct?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear all the way. Now you're in Alabama, right?
Yes, I
We're
am.
broadcasting right through to Georgia. Tell us about how that went for you.
Well, I simply just I keyed in all of my debts. I had a mortgage, or I put my mortgage in, I put my credit card debt in, and I put my student loan in. And actually within, I want to say within 24 hours, actually, because I was on the phone with them, they walked me through all the steps, and they helped me upload everything. Well, put everything in the right spaces. And right then I actually got my analysis. So they helped me step by step, and immediately I had my analysis.
Awesome. And in that analysis, what was the difference in time between the creditor's plan and the new plan?
It was a year's difference. It was a year's difference.
Mm-hmm. And it, you know, it's amazing what happens, because here's the reality for all of us that weren't aware. Mortgages, credit cards, auto loans, creditors have a plan for our lives, and that is to make money on us as long as possible. You get together with the experts, and for the first time, now you have a plan and some extra gasoline to throw on that fire.
Mm-hmm.
And watch as you save both money and time. And the brilliant thing is, as your debt goes down, your equity goes up to the max, your credit score gets better like magic. Personally, for me, that was one of the things that happened as I went through all the maxes. So everything, before I go on, let me give it up for Vonda and Coco for sharing their testimonies of working through the system and starting to build on things that give them room to create wealth. Because the main reason I find that most people don't invest is between taxes and debts and bills, they don't have anything left. Well, as I went through that process of getting my taxes corrected with the help of experts, getting my credit improved with the help of experts, and starting to eliminate my debts, we were able over the past years to pay off $57,000 in credit card debts. I answer my phone boldly. This is Richard. I know I don't owe you anything. But more importantly, to snowball that process into paying off rental properties and being able to invest in different things now that we are liquid. Everybody say liquid. Type liquid right there. Because we're not creating money just to floss. We're creating generational wealth. And they say that a good man leaves a legacy for his children and his children's children, right? So we got introduced to concepts like land banking and private reserve accounts that give us the same tax advantages that the wealthy had. See, it turns out that if you don't know necessarily where to invest your money, that wasn't your fault. We're not taught that in schools, but the wealthy have advisors that help them do things at an advantage. Now, I've talked about all of the edges and left the price on the screen intentionally so that people knew the investment up front. Because I know there's always somebody, whenever you're introduced to anything, people are like, well, what's it going to cost? What's the gotcha? So the gotcha is, it's no gotcha. It's not a gotcha. We say up front, it's $228 and $119 a month to have access to everything in our system that we've talked about. And it doesn't stop there. If that was all it costs to earn, think about the Vonda Bell scenario. If you know a teacher that adds $800 to their take-home pay for $119 a month, teachers are good at math. They know that that's $700 to the good. This is a good investment. But beyond that, to have the ongoing process, the experts, the automation, the technology, the support, and the opportunity to make money, it's no doubt. You pay $500, I pay, knowing what I know now, I pay 5 times as much as I did to get the results that I live in. Does that make sense? But let's talk about that next step. And I do have, there's so many testimonies. We don't even have time to get into all of them. But if you go to Facebook and the MWR Financial Testimonials page, you'll see people getting raises of $400 a month, seeing their credit scores go up to 821. You know, there was a time where I thought black people didn't have 800 credit scores, but I have one now. This young lady, she's 19 years old. Her credit score was a 356. I didn't know credit scores could go that low, but over the course of a 3-month process, went from 356, 355, 501 to 763, bought her own car with no cosigner. Just so many success stories, but so little time because I do want to make sure that we have access to everything. Talking about credit and credit score, hey, I think y'all saw this gentleman on the line earlier. Documentation beats conversation. That's Chuck Harden, 805 and 812 credit scores. And then the awesome part is now that we've freed up our cash, that we've released ourselves from the bondage of debt, being able to participate in the 8th wonder of the world, that's compound interest. You know, Einstein, even though he's famous for E equals MC squared, one of his most famous quotes was that compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. Those that understand it get paid by it. Those that don't pay it. Well, with the private reserve account, you get to have the opportunity to have your growth of income related to the market returns, but never lose when the market goes down. So any of you that had those catastrophic losses on your 401ks or IRAs or Roth IRAs, all of them went down, I know. This preserves it. At the same time, land banking gives us the opportunity to diversify truly and get some of our income out of the paper markets into land, which is the only asset in America that they're not making more of. And then we get to talk about getting paid. Now, before I start talking about how we get paid, let me ask, who in here wanted to hear about the money? Is there anybody want to hear about the money? Matter of fact, if you wanted to hear about the money, type show me the money in here. Show me the money, show me the money, show me the money, show me the money. So as I get into showing you the money, I do want to say that this is one of the most remarkable compensation plans I've ever had in my life. I've been paid just about every way you can get paid. I've been paid hourly, I've been paid salary, I've made residual income, I made major bonuses, but the money in the Making Wealth Real financial movement is so congruent with the way that I live that I couldn't help but share with people. And I hope you get so excited about the things that happen for you that you feel that way too. As a matter of fact, that's the only way we can really do business together. Because think about it. When you get started in Making Wealth Real Financial, our first job, the number one thing we ask you to do, put the Financial Edge membership to work. Get them to go to work on your taxes, your credit, your debts, and start planning for your wealth. 4 phases of the business, and tell people your story. Now, when you tell people your story, I'm not saying sell it. Everybody say, I'm not talking about sales. Type in there, I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about strategies. Not talking about sales. Talking about strategies. When you share your results with people, let's say for the sake of this conversation, you shared your success story with myself, Chuck Harden, and Coco. Is it safe to say that we get started in business with you? Absolutely, we get started in business with you. We were looking for a way to make a change, to make things happen. We get started in business and we follow your model, meaning we do the same thing you did. We apply the financial operating system to our lives. We reboot our money. We get excited. We start telling people, everybody say, reboot your money. Reboot. Turn it on. We reboot our money. We start telling our friends about it. 3 people get started with me. 3 people get started with Coco. 3 people get started with Chuck. Now that's 12 people that know about Making Wealth Real Financial because of you. Would it be okay if they paid you for it? Now, I pause right there to make that point because here's what happens normally in presentations. Everybody looks at everything I just said and said, that sounds great. But that thing that you just described right there, where it's 3 people getting 3 people to get 3 people, man, that sounds like one of them pyramid things. I went to college. I don't do those pyramid things. Well, I went to Duke University. And at Duke University, one of the things that I realized was lacking in my life was leverage, meaning we're always taught to work smart and to work hard. But one of the things that you learn in physics is the concept of leverage. Leverage allows one person to get more done than they could do by themselves. It was Ray Kroc. He's the founder of McDonald's. How many of you seen a McDonald's? He said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 men's efforts than 100% of my own. That way, if I got hurt, if I got sick, if I died, 99% of the work is still getting done. And that's how our business works. It gives you, for the first time, the opportunity to start your business as CEO, not the bottom, but the top, the head, not the tail, above, not below. We have to have a paradigm shift, and I'm not talking about moving 2 dimes. We got to think top down. Does that make sense? Now, we do those 2 things quickly with urgency. We find 3 people, help them find 3 people, help them find 3 people. The company pays over $1,500 in upfront bonuses just for acting with urgency. Does that make sense? But beyond that, they take it the next level to do something that I had not seen in this industry. See, I have the benefit of having been in the network marketing arena at the highest level in a company for 10 years. But one thing I never had was a guarantee of residual daily pay. So everybody type that, write that down. If you're taking things in your notes, if you compare and say, what's this compared to that? How is it different? Daily pay. Daily pay is a concept, and it's based on the number of members in your organizations and therefore the number of customers that you have attracted. Lowest daily guaranteed pay just on that team of 3 that you started with, me, Chuck, and Coco, will pay you $5 a day. Everybody say $5 a day. I got 5 on it, 5. Now, we'd agree, $5 is not a lot of money, yes? But if it came every day, would you take it? If it was outside on the ground, would you pick it up? And if 30 times 5, which is $150 a month, hit your bank account, you find a way to disperse it. As a matter of fact, in this business, if your website's $119 and you making $150, you got a little bit extra just from the business and you and the 3 people you told. But you can't control other people's excitement. When they tell 3 and you get to the place where you have 12 people in your business, well, now you're making $20 a day. That's a $600 a day guarantee. And it continues to grow based on the size of the organization. And the best thing about it, at some point, the size of the organization really doesn't have anything to do with you. You'll have somebody like Yaz Anderson come into your business and have Felicia come into her business and have 24 people come into their business in a month. Now you're making $20 a day, they're making $20 a day, and the people with them are making $20 a day. That's $600 a month that you don't have to worry about. It doesn't have anything to do with your job or how the people at your job feel about you. Because people always talk to me about, well, you got a good job, you make a lot of money, why would you do this? A good job isn't just for, a side hustle isn't just for people that hate their job. Sometimes you need job insurance just in case your job starts to hate you. And then, across all categories of life, I got a lot of pictures in here of people that are my friends and people that you'll get to know. But Richard Greer, he's retired. But how many people do you know that retired from one job but picked up another job at Walmart as a greeter? Not because they like wiping off buggies or saying hello and good morning. They just needed some extra money. And then you have, multiple $20, $30, $50. Now, at this point, Charles Ivory's at $100 a day. And it's ironic, in his particular case, he got furloughed the day that he hit the $100 a day mark. Just not knowing how everything's going to happen, it creates some sense of certainty where some of what's happening to us in the economy, we have no control over. But now we have a thing where we can dictate how much we do, how much we produce, and the system continues to provide an ongoing account of where you are relative to the next level. Now, the second way the company pays us is what we call a vehicle or mortgage payment, meaning there are tiers of achievement. Tier 1, they pay you $500 a month towards any car. And if you don't have a car note, they call that money. Anybody okay with somebody just depositing $500 for you to either buy the car that you're in, a new car, or no car? and then it increases to $1,250, and then to $3,000 a month. Now, I happen to know a young man on this line who is right now getting paid $500 a month, who won't need a car for 2 more years until my niece is 16. Put it in the bank, invest it, get it ready, be prepared. But you know what the feeling is like walking onto the car lot knowing you can afford it? I don't need to talk to whoever that is in the back you're going to see. There he is. That's a bad man right there, isn't he? Yep, and here's the exciting thing. It's not just that that's my brother, but it could be your brother. It could be anybody that you know that has a hunger and a desire to do things and help people do better and keep track. Cashflow Chrissy, who we just heard from on a training call, make sure that you ask the person that invited you today to send you the replay of the call in case you missed it. At this point, she was 41% to the $1,250 bonus. She just hit and blew through that. She's actually the first young woman in the $1 million residual club earners. And then one of Chuck's friends from the first grade is a top earner in the history of this company. Now, I don't say that to impress you, just to impress upon you that people are doing this thing. He has 8 cars, no notes, but they still pay him the $3,000 anyway. He can find something to do with it, yes? And there's, even more bonuses. And I point out all the money that's available in this way. We started this conversation talking about a simple $100 bill. And the matter of fact, let me stop sharing and look at y'all for a second. Here's the reality of our situation and our conversation is money is relative. It's not everything, but all of it's needed. It ranks right up there next to oxygen in terms of taking care of things that cost money. It determines where we live, quality of education our kids receive, quality of food we eat, the quality of health care that we receive. So everybody needs some money. And I don't know what money would have an impact to you, but what I've shown you is a way to earn some extra income, some replacement income if you have income that's lost you, or exceptional income. You can earn hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. You can go from 1 digit to 2 digits to 5 and 6 digits, whatever your earning potential and mindset can achieve. And it's all right here. And it wouldn't mean anything if the training and support weren't available to help you through the process. So with that, I'm done. How many of you can tell I've had this conversation before? Show of hands. And every time I've had this conversation, 3 categories of people appear, and they're here today. Number 1 person says, let's back up. Let's go in reverse order. Number 3 person says, thanks, but no thanks. I heard everything you said, and it's not for me. Now, over time, I've realized that some people are confused when they give that answer, because there's only 3 reasons anybody ever looks at this and says, I'm not in. It's 1, they don't understand it. 2, they don't believe it, or 3, for whatever reason, the money, the 228 is an issue. Let me talk about those things first really quickly. If you don't understand it, think about what you do right now for a living. I know for my career, I've worked in enterprise software for 25 years. In my first day, I showed up terrified. I didn't know what to do or what to say, but I stayed around long enough to get paid. If you don't understand everything, we only been talking for 30 minutes. It went really fast because I'm really excited. But get the training. We have a training system designed to help you understand both how to build a business and to repair your money at the same time. It's the most vital education most people need, but at the same time, it's a thing that most people don't have access to. Second, if you don't believe it, just believe enough. Believe enough that you were born to win, that you were designed for victory, and that your current situation isn't your destination. Believe in you like I believe in me, that something's got to work. This might be it. Find out the gap between your belief and disbelief. And if you don't have the money, well, don't worry about it. I mean, realistically, the universe has a way of making finances come the way of people that are in motion. So get involved in the education process. Start learning how we found and attracted the money that we needed to get started. Get started so that that's never again an out loud confession that $228 separates you from millions. All right. Number two person says, I got questions. Great. We had questions too. We have an ongoing event series happening right now designed to answer every question any of us ever have. We're at the beginning of the month of May, but in an event series called Mayhem, where over the course of the next 4 days, we'll have exposures and different ways of understanding our system from experts all around the country. All you have to do is plug in. Let the person that invited you know you need to see more. You got questions, and we'll get answers and schedule a professional follow-up with you to get you from where you are to where you need to be. And number one is like, where do I sign? I was just waiting for you to finish so I could get started. I want to fix my money, but more importantly, I want to make the outrageous money that's available. If you're in that category, make sure to text or email the person that got you on this line tonight to get access to the full inventory so that not by next month, but by Tuesday, we've got you enrolled in the system and able to leverage the Mayhem event to help start to build your team and your financial success story. Sound fair? So with that said, I want to thank all of you for your time, your attention, and your energy. I want to wish you the best because you deserve it. This is Richard Hardner, Richard and Bertie's biggest baby boy, signing off on behalf of the Power Builders, empowering you so you can empower everything around you. Let's get it.
Okay, Richard.